Today we're looking at one of Florida's most, well, visually shocking and functionally brilliant native shrubs. We're talking about the American Beautyberry. And honestly, it completely earns that name. It is an absolute understory stunner. Now, if you've ever seen this plant in the fall from, say, 10 feet away, your first thought was probably, wait, what in the world is that? It literally looks fake. But no, those fluorescent, almost glowing magenta-purple berry clusters, 100% real, not photoshopped at all. And what's super unique here is how they grow. Unlike a lot of ornamental shrubs where the fruit kind of hangs off the very ends of the branches, beautyberry clusters actually hug the stems. They grow right where the leaves meet the branch, wrapping tightly around the wood, which creates this incredibly dramatic, almost surreal display.
So let's get to know it a bit better. Scientifically, it's called Callicarpa americana. It's this gorgeous, loose, naturally arching shrub. And here's the best part for your landscape. It thrives as a layered understory plant right in those tricky spots where your turf grass just goes to die. Right beneath the heavy shade of those large live oaks. Instead of fighting those low-light conditions under a massive canopy, this highly adaptable native just leans right into it. It gives your yard this beautiful, naturalistic woodland vibe, even in partial shade.
But it's not just a pretty face, right? This is where we get into its true ecological value. It's absolutely a high-octane fuel source that supports a fully functional habitat. Before you even see those wild purple berries, it pushes out these really subtle, delicate pink or lavender flowers that pollinators just go crazy for. And then comes the fruit. Now, fun fact, they actually are technically edible, and historically folks use them to make jellies, but today, they're primarily a massive food source for wildlife. It's literally a complete, multi-season ecological engine happening right on a single stem. You've got flowers for the pollinators, and then bam, fruit for the birds and the critters. Okay, let's talk maintenance for a second, because this is absolutely crucial. We really need to stop treating this plant like it's some sort of sheared viburnum hedge. You've got to give it room to stretch and arch outward naturally. You're looking at roughly 4 to 8 feet of mature spread, so plan for that. Just stick to one purposeful pruning while it's dormant. If you keep butchering it with hedge trimmers into this tight little 36-inch ball, giving it, 20 tiny haircuts a year, you're just chopping off all that potential flowering and fruiting growth. You're basically turning a spectacular native shrub into a totally generic, boring green blob. You've got to let it look a little wild. And letting it be wild ties perfectly into a really important Florida-friendly landscaping philosophy. Evergreen doesn't automatically mean better. Actually, it is a wonderful thing to let your yard experience real seasonal changes. Depending on how cold your winter gets, beautyberry can be completely deciduous or semi-deciduous. Losing its leaves is totally perfectly normal. It's a rhythm. You get fresh, bright growth in the spring, lush foliage and flowers in the summer, that spectacular purple fruit in the fall, and then a quieter, structural look in the winter. That is exactly what a four-season landscape is supposed to do. So why settle for a generic green blob when you can literally feed the wildlife and get that unbelievable pop of fall color? This understory stunner is absolute proof that a landscape can be highly functional and incredibly beautiful at the same time. If you're ready to bring this kind of energy to your yard, definitely head over to our plant library to discover your next native plant today. Because honestly, think about it. If just one single shrub can bring this much life and color to your shade, what other ecological engines are just waiting out there to transform your yard?
Seek knowledge with curiosity. Explore the varied path at viavaria.co.